Hey everyone, as mentioned this morning on our very early daily financial news, I was interviewing an attorney, a probate attorney and estate planning attorney, and going to be making him the next expert in our weekly series. So we are truly lucky to have him. Let's welcome Rylas to the show. How you doing, buddy?
Hi, doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Oh,
It's great to
absolutely.
be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So why don't we make this first kind of who is Rylas? What do you do? Where you at? How do you play in this real estate landscape? And then we'll get on to kind of our topic number one.
All right, yeah. So I'm my day job is a probate attorney, probate and estate planning,
Mhm.
and I do that in Arizona and California. Today I'm sitting in Scottsdale, Arizona, my office slash studio here. And then in the summertime, I spend more time in San Diego, California. So get out of the heat. So
That's good living, man. Scottsdale and San Diego, that's some good living right there. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a great life. I'd say the constant tourist life,
Yeah, there you go.
so the time I'm in Arizona a lot, it's crowded here. That's when all the tourists are here and kind of same thing in California. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's nice to be able to go where it's nice.
very, very cool. So, how long have you been in the state and probate attorney? You look pretty young, man.
Yeah, so I've been doing this actually. So I've been an attorney over 10 years now
Okay.
and in the business. So my dad was an estate planning attorney. So I
Oh,
started in
okay.
college in
Nice.
undergrad.
Okay.
So I got a taste of it then in college. I started working in the law firm then,
Yeah.
doing different calculations and
Very
so I
cool.
decided I would go to law school and so I've been in the business about 18 years if you go all
Yeah,
the way back then.
that's great. So you've
So
seen a lot. You've seen a lot of changes. This is going to be fun as we go through this weekly journey together because that 18-year experience means that you started in early 2000s and saw this great run up, the great crash, the return. So that'll be some good stuff to get into. We probably won't do it this go around because we're going to lay the foundation today, but that will be fun. The last thing to do before we get into topic number one is you really came to the One Rental at a Time family via a mutual friend in Pace Morby. So why don't you talk about how you connected with Pace? And I know you two are doing some pretty amazing things, but just more validation on who is Rylas.
yeah, so Pace, I met him. I don't know. It seems like a while, but it hasn't been that long. The way he rolls, it's fast and intense. I think that's why we became friends. So I met him at it was at like a barbecue through another real estate person, mutual friend. And anyways, he's telling me that he likes to buy houses, and I'm like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
So does everyone else.
Yeah,
Like
it's like just another one of those guys. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I get like 3 mailers a week on my desk.
Yeah.
And but anyway, we met up for a lunch like the next week, and because I could tell he was different.
Right.
And um, long story short, though, is he worked to get my attention as a probate attorney. I
Hmm.
had friends that I was giving my leads that wanted to make cash offers.
Hmm.
Whenever we have estates or a trust and there's 5 kids, it's
Hmm.
easier to split cash. So I'm a
Right.
fan of liquidating. So I got to know him that way. And then he invited me to come to his office on Saturdays. He called it the lab, and we
Mm.
would shoot videos there
Yeah.
and we would do live streams. And
Hmm.
I was really lucky to meet a lot of people in the industry that way and have a lot of the conversations. They're all live. They're all on his Facebook and
Yeah.
YouTube things now. So that's how I got to know him, and I became more familiar with just the real estate investor business. He invited me to a networking event, a RIA, a
Hmm.
meetup, and Brent Daniels was the speaker, Mr.
Mm.
TTP.
Yeah.
And I think that's what hooked me even more. I love just like the motivation, the positivity.
Yeah.
When I go to lawyer events, they're not that fun. Like I'm not a great networker, and attorneys aren't I don't know, my motto is think like an attorney but try not to act like one. They're not,
Ah.
they're just and I don't know, I enjoy the real estate network more, I guess I could say. Those investors, the entrepreneur,
Yeah.
open-minded people.
Yeah.
So
Folks looking for again. I mean no disrespect. This is just my opinion. I think I've interacted with probably less than 50 attorneys, so this is definitely a small sample size. But a lot of attorneys I work with look for reasons to say no, where a lot of the entrepreneurs look for a reason to say yes. Now that's, you can read that what you want, but yeah, one is more risk averse, maybe you would say, and one is more risk taking, I guess, is kind of my taking. Is that a fair characterization?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Okay.
And I would say I became an attorney in order to get the licenses so people can't tell me no. Like, no, I know the rules. Like something that really bugs me is when people like when things will go up to their legal department. They're like, we have to talk to legal, and it's like, yeah, let me talk with them. You
Yeah.
know, and most companies never let you will, right?
Yeah.
And it's
That's amazing. Well, hey,
but
one of,
anyway, so
go ahead. Sorry.
I'd say I like the real estate community, and we're getting kind of off track.
That's okay. I just like, I like the audience to know who I'm speaking with. So this is all great stuff. Kind of who is Rylas, right? So one of the things I wanted to do in these 3 introductory videos is we're going to basically establish that foundation. And again, the first 2 are going to be, you know, what is probate? What is estate? How is it used in life? And how can we use it as kind of prospecting, if you will. So Rylas, why don't we hit probate first? Kind of generic. We're not, no, not very many attorneys are watching. So what is probate to the average person? When does it come into effect? All of that stuff.
Yeah, so we'll start with what is probate.
Mhm.
And this is something I go over every day. And it's one of those words that I think people have heard of and maybe they know it's bad, but
Yeah,
few people know what it actually is.
I would agree with that. Most people hear it, they go, oh, I know it, and it's bad. But yeah, that's kind of where it stops. I'd agree.
Yeah, and then some people, I'll ask them what it is. And they're like, "It's where the state takes all of your stuff," and it's like, "Well, it's not quite that bad." So, um, but what it is, it's the legal process to change title of an asset out of the name of the deceased. So if
Mhm.
there's something titled in the name of the deceased, like a bank account or a house,
Mhm.
and you're trying to collect it, they're not there to sign for it.
Right.
So the bank or the title company is like, hey, we need a court order
Mhm.
to tell us what to do. So that's basically what probate is.
Yeah. So again, folks, think again, real estate channel, think title on a house. Folks that have bank accounts, that have cash or have stock portfolios or whatever it is, right? Probate is the legal process to take it from, you know, let's use grandpa's name, right? So that it ages appropriately, grandpa's name to grandchild, for example. Um, that's as, yeah. And, but it could be at any stage, right? Unfortunately, 20-year-olds pass all the time and they have assets and that needs to change. So it's not only for elderly, if you will.
Right, right. And I would say a lot of people learn of probate at the title company or when they go
Yeah.
to sell. And the title's like, hey, who's so and so? Where's grandpa?
Right.
They put the title and they say, it's in the name of grandpa.
Right.
And they're like, no, he's passed away. And they
You don't
say you
have
need
any
a
legal right to
probate.
do this, buddy. Yeah.
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 So
So
so that
go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, what, so can probate be avoided? If so, how is it, you know, how is it avoided? Let's just cover all of this so people know that they have options. Because hopefully in this, what's going to happen is you get more and more phone calls for help, but let's define how people avoid it and or make it a more streamlined process.
Yeah, so you can avoid it. And places like California, you definitely want to. Arizona, our probate process is pretty bad as well, but it's not as bad as Arizona. By bad, what I mean is time consuming and therefore expensive.
Hmm.
So that's why we want to avoid it. And yes, you can avoid it. So the way to avoid it is to make sure the title of assets have a way to transfer. So an easy example is things like life insurance policies or retirement accounts, IRAs and 401ks.
Hmm.
They usually have a contract or a beneficiary designation
Yep.
saying where those things go.
Hmm.
So it's things like real estate, like houses that often trigger probate.
Hmm.
So a good strategy for real estate is to own it in a trust,
Okay.
which is a contract um, that says who manages the assets and for the benefit
Hmm.
and under what conditions. So a trust is a way where you can pass your stuff either after you die or if you become incapacitated, you can make sure there's someone that can manage your assets for your benefit. And then after you're gone, to pass it where you want, be that the kids, grandkids, and then you can avoid courts and avoid probate that way.
Very cool. So a lot of people think, hey, I have a will, and the will says this house goes here, that house goes there. Um, why isn't that enough?
Yeah, so a will just says where your stuff goes,
Right.
but they don't have the authority to transfer it.
Hmm.
So the will you designate, you say, I name, my son as a personal representative.
Hmm.
But if you go to the title company and say, hey, dad's passed away, here's the will that says I'm in charge, that doesn't give you the authority without the court and the
Right.
probate.
Yeah. So where I was trying to go with this is some people I hear think they're covered with a will, right? They've taken the time to say, here, I'm just going to make stuff up. I own 10 houses. I have 10 grandchildren. In my will, it says, house one goes here, household. I mean, it's clean, right? Let's keep it clean for the example. But still, that's not enough. It doesn't give
Right.
title. Yeah, go ahead.
You're right. You're right. And I would say there's maybe a lot of viewers of your channel, but a lot of people where they have a lot of assets and they've
Hmm.
done very well themselves, by doing the research themselves. So those are some people where they don't want to listen to me. They're, oh, I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
or maybe it's I see their kids and they're like, oh, like you got to see my parents, like they're a mess. Like the kids realize it,
Right.
but they can't get them to
Yeah.
do
There's
something.
one. There's again. I see it all the time. Again, some people are great at accumulating assets, and rightly or wrongly, right? They don't look for what happens the day after they die, and maybe they don't want to. Maybe they think it's morbid. Whatever. But in reality, it happens to all of us. Nobody has figured out how to put off the Grim Reaper. So if it's important for you to make sure that your accumulated assets are treated with least impact, right, to taxes or fees or costs, um, you do need to talk to a probate attorney and figure out what is best. So, Rylas, how would somebody in California or Arizona reach out to you and just ask some questions?
Yeah, the best way is to go through my website. That's danalegalhelp.com. And then that'll have the phone numbers, email, text even. You can reach out to my office that way. And we have receptionists there to answer questions and then get you scheduled to talk with me.
So danalegalhelp.com.
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
I will put that in the first line of the description, folks. And something else you're doing, you reached out, you said, hey, I want to make sure I take care of the one rental at a time family. You want to give a taste of what that would look like?
Yeah, so we can do a special offer. If you guys, hear me through this channel, through Michael, let me know. We can do something, depending what you need, but we can
Mhm.
do like a 10-20% off type of a thing for the one rental at a time folks.
So let's make sure we encourage people, right? So if they just have questions, they probably should reach out, and then you could your office will let them know, hey, that's this or that, or let's schedule a call, right?
Yeah, so they'll schedule you for a call. So they'll take your information and get you set up on my calendar to
Mhm.
make sure we have the time to discuss, the proper time
Exactly.
to discuss what you're looking for, and then give you specific answers to your situation. And if it's something that we can help with, I can quote you a flat fee at that time to say, yeah, I can help you. Here's what that would look like if you are
Mhm.
interested.
Very, very cool, Riley. Well, thank you very much. That's topic number one, folks.